it does show that everybody in this province is interested in this aspect. So let me indicate that we have agreed in the past, Gauteng convened a Gauteng infrastructure summit that takes place every 2 years. So the Premier indicated to me that we will have one this year in July. So this is going to be a precursor to that. So what we'll do, we will invite all of you again in July, much bigger venue and more days, so that you are able to participate. I suppose that what we'll do in July will also run parallel sessions so that more people can participate. So don't despair, because we have squeezed you today and probably there won't be enough time for everybody to speak. So we will have another summit in July. We will be able to inform you accordingly. Now, I'm basically covered by the speakers who spoke before me, Pakstau, DG, and the key word really for us in this summit is going to be partnership. The DG has touched on that. We have realized that if we want to achieve our objective, our vision as a global city region, we require partnerships. Partnership between the public and the private sector. But more importantly, as the DG said, collaboration between the various spheres of government, provincial government, national government, local government, and the agencies as well. We need to work together to ensure that we can be able to build a globally competitive Gauteng city region. We have realized that although there are resources within the fiscus, we do need to leverage private sector funding in what we want to achieve. So I won't go into the issue of mega human settlement. That there will be a session after the break dealing with that. Where are these mega human settlements? What are their designs? And so on. There'll be speakers speaking about that. What I want to emphasize mainly is that in addition to what the DG was saying about the kind of resources we have, about 10 billion rand per annum that comes into Gauteng just for human settlements, if you include both grants. If you take that over a 3-year period, you're talking well over 30 billion. But the issue is that we need much more than that. If you look at all the plans that we have, 30 billion rand is not enough. If we collaborate with local government, with their budget for infrastructure, obviously that increases, and that's why it's important to have that collaboration. The metros in Gauteng, if you take Joburg, the city of Ekurhuleni and the city of Tshwane, their budget combined, once you bring the other municipalities as well, goes well above 100 billion per annum. And a lot of those resources will come into funding critical infrastructure. When we spoke about the idea of a summit for funding human settlements, the Premier and myself agreed that we will extend the scope to looking at all critical infrastructure. So to the executive mayors, we want to look at the issue of energy as well. We know that both Johannesburg and the city of Tshwane have capacity to build power stations. We're going to look at building new roads, not e-tolls. You see, I don't like e-tolls, so you can vote for me next time when I go to the election. In fact, the Premier has emphasized this point. If you were listening carefully, said, we will be building new roads and they are not going to be tolled. And he's a man that never lies. So we are happy with that. They are not going to be tolled. I'm not saying roads won't be tolled in South Africa broadly. I'm just talking about Gauteng, what we will be doing. So we want, the Premier and myself agreed that when we raise funding, and DG, that will cover what you are saying. When we raise funding now, we're not raising funding only for housing. It's not only for human settlements. We want to raise funding for infrastructure broadly, including the roads, including energy. We also, by the way, we want to expand Gautrain to new areas, including Lanseria, east of Tshwane, south of Johannesburg towards Soweto. So when we look at funding, we are looking at all those critical areas because we are building a globally competitive city region. We're not building houses. We're building integrated human settlements. In those settlements, as they will brief you later, we are planning for schools, health institutions, light industrial zones, retail outlets like shopping centers, etc. So it's a whole new city that is comprehensive, where people can live, work, and play in one space. And as you can hear the word mega, it means we're going big, bigger, and bigger. The DG has just said, we're moving away from sporadic, small, little projects, RDP houses there and there. We're building new cities. That's the line we're taking. And that's why we're saying we want to bring resources in this direction. Now, in this summit, we have invited the banks, people from the pension fund sector. By the way, I have already had a session with almost all the pension funds in this country just last year to talk about these things. The pension fund industry in South Africa is well above 7 trillion rands. Yes. So we're not talking small. There's money in this country. There's money. And we need to look at how best do we use it to develop for ourselves. We know that when we develop, we don't want to be reckless and say to the pension funds, yeah, bring this money, put it here and lose it. Because that money belongs to people. It's people's pension funds. But we must be able to invest in a smart way to drive the development of this province. I agree with the DG that as we invest in this critical infrastructure, we must create opportunities to stimulate local economic development, support for medium and small enterprises. We have the DG for Department of Small Businesses that will be talking to us later on. Because there is a growing activity in the township economy, and we must use our muscle to boost that. Get more people to participate, support initiatives to empower women and young people, and more importantly, create employment in the country. So as we implement these projects, we also at the same time are growing the economy and creating job opportunities. And that's why we want to work with all of you to be able to do this. Beyond this summit today, what's going to happen, we're going to start to go on a capital raising roadshow to be able to give opportunities to funders to have bilaterals with us. Because you can't complete everything in a summit. So we'll have an opportunity. Those who want to have bilaterals with us, please, you will indicate, but we'll also find you. So it's two ways. If you don't come to us, we will find you because we want you. So we're going to have bilateral engagements with the banks, the funders. Our immediate focus will be on the domestic economy, domestic market, and do a lot of those engagements. And then we will later on embark on an international roadshow to raise funds to attract foreign direct investments. You will be happy to know that even though we are in the junk status, people are still having hope that we are able to hold our economy together. And Gauteng in particular must play a leading role because we are the fourth biggest economy in the continent. We are the biggest economy in this country. So we must lead the way. Investors don't put their money where they think the government has no confidence to put its own resources. So government must lead the way. We must increase public sector investments to be able to attract private sector investment. So we have to lead the way. In the recent trips that I've undertaken with MEC for Economic Development, MEC Maile, we found a lot of interest outside of the country to invest in our country, particularly Gauteng. Just last year when I was on my way to Spain, had meetings in Dubai, and some of the people I met were interested to invest about $5 billion in Gauteng. And recently we've undertaken trips and we've had a lot of interest of people who want to come. And they were saying, give us your plans. You want to build mega projects, infrastructure. We are very interested. We are coming. So that's what we must do. We must show the world out there that we do have plans that are workable. We are putting our money where our mouth is. We're putting our own resources behind those plans so that they can also come and join us. So that's what we will be doing to try and bring the necessary resources that we need to be able to build Gauteng as a globally competitive city region. We have agreed that the Premier will later talk about the 10-point plan that guides our work around the theme of transformation, modernization, and reindustrialization. And he'll be able to show how also our cities have become engines of growth, driving development. I want to take the proposal made by President Pakstaude that the local government sphere has got a lot of experience in accessing debt capital markets. And we as a provincial government must leverage on that, working with local government together to see how we can package our initiative to be able to access debt capital markets using their own experience. So we will take you on that proposal, Pax, to work with local government. I know the particularly the metros, Tshwane, Kuruleni, and Joburg, have been raising bonds in the capital markets. So we'll be working with them, and we'll package our infrastructure in such a way that we can do what Parks was saying, to be able to try and raise that necessary funding together. So what do we want to achieve in the short, long term? Firstly, by accessing all this funding into these projects, we will be able to turn Gauteng into a construction site. We want to see a province that is working. Turn Gauteng to a construction site, and you'll be able to see that things are going to change. When I was traveling recently with my team, we're looking at developments in Singapore, Malaysia, Dubai, and I met some guys in Dubai who were sitting in one of the hotels. They say to me, you see, MEC, what you see here in Dubai was not there 20 years ago. This, all what you see here, all these skyscrapers, is the work of just 20 years. So how long should it take us to change the face of Gauteng? So it's a big challenge. Important thing is we must have the courage to do it. No talk shops. The courage to do it. Once we have plans, we raise money, we go for implementation. So I said to them, we will catch up with you. Was I right? We will catch up with them. And then I said to my team, it can be done. We must have the courage, and we must not have the fear to fail, because sometimes that's what holds you back. People are scared. Accounting officers, very scared, worried about their clean audits. They think clean audit is the best thing you should have when they do nothing. Let's not be scared. When we do big things, it's going to be a challenge. We're not going to need people who have courage to do it. The kind of things that DG was talking about is going to need courage to do it, to transform those industries. Look at the supply chain, the whole supply chain, bring new players on board. So I believe it can be done. I won't talk much about mega projects. It will be done later. There will be more speakers who will talk about funding. But I must say, as I conclude, that I have found a lot of positive response from the people I've engaged with. All the pension funds in this country, very positive. I have met DG with the PIC and a lot of other fund institutions. We will be engaging your DBSA and so on. And as the DG said, we will work together when we do this so that we are able to combine our efforts and experiences. I want to wish you a very fruitful day. I know that one day is not enough to engage on all of these things, but let's try. We have an exhibition as well somewhere around here where we will show you some ideas on what the developers and ourselves are planning with respect to mega human settlements. We didn't do a comprehensive exhibition, so you won't see everything that you might want to see, but in July we'll probably have everything that we need. We will also in July use that opportunity as a report back on how far we have traveled with our roadshow on capital raising and the implementation of projects. So for now, Program Director, I want to say, let's get on to work. As we said earlier, Gauteng means business. and we're going to do it. Thank you very much.